I'm Tara-Nicholle Nelson, and Bibliotherapy is in session. I recently asked a question of 3,000 of my closest friends and family on Facebook. What's the change you would most like to make in your business and your personal life? And I got tons of answers, from marketing dilemmas to time management issues. But I was surprised at how many people said they'd just like to stop feeling and thinking so negatively. They'd love to have a more positive outlook on life. In my experience, negative thinking is almost always a byproduct of fear. They're like neuropsychological mother and child, and fear, in turn, results from attachment. Here's how this works. See, none of us are actually born with fears. We're not born dreading anything. No one's born with email apnea. You know that thing where you hold your breath when you get an email from your horrible boss? Humans are born with two fears, and two fears only: the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. But what happens over our lifetimes is that we get attached to people, we get attached to things, we get attached to outcomes, and we begin to fear that something bad will happen to these things and these people and these outcomes that we care about so much. Fear is also the byproduct of living in the past or living in the future, instead of living right now in the present moment. See, we tell ourselves stories about things that may or may not happen in the future, and those stories scare us. Or we're trained to feel fear, to feel afraid by something that happened to us in the past, and that fear response gets triggered when we face a new challenge or a new problem. And all of this emphasis, this focus, this fixation on the past and on the future distracts us from the reality that right now, in the present moment, we're just fine. And actually, we're better than fine, because now is the only time we sit in the power position, the position to actually impact the future. So how do you stop fearful or negative thinking? There are lots of ways, including practices that help you snap out of the past and the future by staying present. Like yoga, you must stay present or you will fall over. But there are also several other approaches you can take, some things that I like to call unlearning and belief rehabilitation. It might have taken you a lifetime to get a negative outlook, or it may have happened in an instant when a tragedy struck. But once you're conscious and aware of the issue, and once you truly have the intention to eliminate it, there are a number of tools you can use to unlearn this habit of expecting the worst and to help you rehab your negative thought patterns. Let's talk about 3 of these tools that I've found to be very effective for unlearning and belief rehabilitation: completion, affirmation, and activation. The first bibliotherapy recommendation today is Henry Cloud's Necessary Endings. It's a book that will help you work toward completion. For the last year, I've been completely committed to working through this book and executing some necessary endings as a precursor to the changes I wanted to make in my own business and my own life. I'm really great at that in some areas, not so much in others. But this book is literally a masterwork at helping you make deliberate, wise decisions about which relationships, projects, and activities to prune, to use the word that Mr. Cloud uses throughout the book. And I just cannot impress upon you enough how pivotal this material is. If you want to become a true leader in your business and in your life, it's essential to know what needs to be pruned, when, and how to do it. And that's what this book will teach you. The next tool is affirmation. And yes, this is the stuff of many an SNL skit. But as much as affirmations get teased, the reality is that a pervasive negative thought pattern almost always results from negative things we've been saying in our own heads over and over, sometimes millions of times for years. Often these are internalizations of negative critiques or criticisms that we heard a lot when we were very young. The classic self-help book, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, is a primer on the practice of using our self-sabotage and our destructive patterns to surface the sources of our negative and limiting thoughts, then using affirmations and other techniques to reverse a lifetime of negative self-talk. The last tool is activation, and you can just think of it as actions. This tool is the focus of a new book by Brendon Burchard called The Charge, Activating the 10 Human Drives That Make You Feel Alive. Burchard starts the book out acknowledging just how widespread these negative thinking and feeling patterns are in today's society, and explaining how he thinks human psychology has evolved to create this epidemic. Then he lays out his 10 human drives that cancel out fear and negative thinking and cause us to feel excited, engaged, and fulfilled. Some of these drives are the desires for control, competence, connection, challenge, and consciousness. The bulk of this book is devoted to specific actions we can take to activate these drives, to flick them on like a switch. Some of these actions are things you can do immediately, others are things you'll need to practice over time, but if you've ever seen Burchard speak or present, you'll understand precisely why he's a credible authority on feeling and being alive. In that vein, I've included an interview I did with Burchard with a special bonus for rethinkers, as well as the links to all 3 books in the companion blog post to this video. Sometimes this is just reality. Your worst case scenario has and does and will come to life. Some of mine have. And it's immature to expect that they never will, or to be outraged and feel like it's unfair if they do. Those sorts of expectations are part of what make us fear and think negatively. Understanding that bad things are a normal part of life and that you possess what it takes to recover from them better, smarter, and stronger diminishes your need to fixate on them. As for me, I realized that by always expecting the worst to happen, I was living and reliving the pain of my worst case scenarios dozens or even hundreds of times. Then, if one of them did happen to actually come true, I'd have to live through it all over again. So now I accept that some bad things are inescapable, and I know and trust that if something bad happens, I'll ultimately be fine and maybe even change for the better. And that frees me up to enjoy right now. If you found this video useful, please like it, share it, or rate it, depending on where you're watching it. And then ask yourself, what do you need to rethink? At rethink7.com, you'll find free guides and playbooks to get started making whatever change you need or want to make in your business or in your personal life. And you'll be able to submit your own question or a dilemma you've encountered in the process of any of these kinds of changes, like breaking a bad habit, starting a good habit, reinventing your health or your career, or even solving a business problem. You submit your question and I'll consider answering it in an upcoming bibliotherapy session.